But since then, I've done a few fix and flips, a few rentals, and next up this year, I'm hoping to do a couple ground up constructions. So yeah, big plans ahead. I'm looking forward to it. A little scary, but it's all about the next level. And professionally, I'm into software development and cloud engineering.
I guess I'll go next. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Moiwa. Professionally, I'm a project manager. I also work for a consulting firm, and I now own a duplex.
Nice.
Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up for her. She just closed the other week. Let's clap it up.
Yeah,
Where's
and
the
to
applause? Where's the
and to
applause button? I don't know where it is, but I'm clicking it right now. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
I'll go next.
actually, Muiwa, I think she might be in one of your neighborhoods. Now that I remember, but I think you might be answering a question on the other call, on the live. So Yasmin, he might be your go-to person when
Definitely got to hit Moiwa's line. All right.
I think we have Josh here as well. Hey, Josh.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? Happy New Year, happy holidays to everybody.
Good. Happy New Year. We were just going through each other's professions and where we are real estate wise.
Real estate wise, I am a partner on an 8-bed, 3-bath home. I guess that would be considered a triplex in Connecticut. And then professionally, I oversee an emergency department in Long Island City, Queens.
Nice. Yasmin, another Connecticut real estate.
Josh, you didn't tell me your house was in Connecticut.
Yes, I'm a partner with my old boss, but we can talk about that
You can
offline
definitely
for
talk about
sure.
that. Hit my line.
Nice. Look at that. And then I guess I can go. In a similar boat with Kalen, also have a handful of properties partnered on between in Philadelphia for the most part. So taking over fairly two duplexes, two single families, and a triplex, I believe. So all right. I think Lamar, you gonna go?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Name is Lamar. I'm still at work, by the way. So I'm a systems analyst at one of the healthcare systems in New York. Right now, we're implementing Epic in the hospital system. So I've been working on that, and that's my day job at night. I am a landlord slash real estate investor.
Awesome. All right, I think we might be able to jump into it. Got the recording going, so Muiwa, whenever you're ready, it's all yours.
All right, sounds good. Thanks. Let me go ahead and share the screen.
Oh, actually, you know what I should do before we get into it? It's been a while since we did a tap talk. It's been about a month and change. So, for everyone who isn't familiar, and for anyone who might be watching this later, this tap talk is hosted by the Affluence Project. We're a nonprofit that focuses on building generational wealth within our communities. So, this is one of the ways that we're doing it, exchanging information, ideas, in a short form fashion where we can all communicate with each other as well and share again our strategies on different topics. So today's topic is in reference to real estate. So Muiwa, all yours for real this time.
All right, thanks. So I'm just seeing. So, yeah, thanks for having me. First off, yeah, this is a cool opportunity. It's always good to just talk real estate whenever I can. I enjoy doing it. I didn't know I was gonna get this knee deep into real estate when I first started house hacking and everything. But yeah, it's always pretty cool to just learn about all the different aspects of just owning real estate, the importance of it, and just spreading the message, sharing what I've done, my experiences, whether good or bad. It's always a great time to just encourage other people to do so. So I look forward to just walking through this. So I'm getting the slide set up one more time. I just realized I was having an issue with the sharing the screen. So, but sorry, I'll get into it.
All right, cool. I just made you a co-host on there, so sharing should be easier now.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. That will work. I see. I get the link now. All right. So I can go ahead and unjoin from here and share over here. All right, cool. All right, so this is from a past presentation that I did, but I'll just run through it. I'm not sure exactly how much time I have, but I'll try and run through it pretty quickly. It's a few slides that cover a couple things like the best banks to go for when home buying, house hacking, interest rates, buying rentals, optimizing your home search when you're actually looking for a home that you're gonna not only call your home but also call it an investment property. Okay, 15 minutes, cool. The state of the market and a little bit more. So a little bit about myself. I started out in 2017, just started my journey in real estate. I didn't buy my first property in 2017, but there's always a place where you start investing in yourself, and that's what I started doing in 2017. So I started looking into residential redevelopments, trying to build relationships, going to networking events, different kinds of things, learning on my own. Working with YouTube University to try and gain as much knowledge as I possibly can, to just understand what it takes to not only buy my first investment property, but to just like grow and possibly expand into commercial units, things like that. So some questions as I go through this presentation. I just want you to ask yourselves, like, what's your why? Like, why do you want to get into real estate? Like, is there a particular area in real estate you're trying to get to? What is there like a something you wanted to learn, something you wanted to become more technical and handy with? Do you like some instances of plumbing? Do you like something that has to do with electrical work? You know, what's your why? Is it because of generational wealth, which is also all great, but yeah, you definitely want to understand that when you're approaching one of the different strategies or multiple of the different strategies of getting into real estate. And you want to also consider what you don't know. So there's going to be a few things that I go through through the presentation that you may not be familiar with, but and it may be like questions that you might have thought of from before and be like, oh yeah, I didn't really know the answer to this, or I didn't know like how to approach or how to seek an answer for it. So feel free to ask questions along the way. I'll be looking at comments. I'll be looking at anything as I speak. So, you want to also look into like some roadblocks that you face. Maybe it's your current role at work. It could be your current journey into getting enough for a down payment, what are some roadblocks in your way? And then you want to just consider what are the solutions to these roadblocks as well. So starting off with house hacking. So in general, when I talk about first-time home buying and approaching it with an investor's mindset, I'm talking about a strategy typically called house hacking. And it's a strategy in real estate where you live in one unit and rent out the other units to assist in mortgage payments while holding on to a high value property that will appreciate over time. So let's say you live in a multi-unit house that you can use a FHA loan on, right? You meaning you only have to pay 3.5% down, which is pretty low. You use an FHA loan, live in one unit, have tenants that live in the other side of the house or the other two units of the house. They live in the other two units and they'll help assist in your mortgage payments. That could be the entirety of your mortgage, or it could be a good fraction of it where you only have to come out of pocket with a couple $100s a month. So this usually happens with a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex. It can end up paying little to no mortgage, like I mentioned, and you could use a low money down mortgage to acquire multi-units. So we're going to talk about some low money down mortgages that you can look into in order to get this done too. So house hacking is a great strategy, but it's not like if it was easy, then everybody would be doing that for sure. Multi-unit houses are sometimes more expensive than single-family houses, right? It's not everywhere that you go that warrants like a multi-unit market, right? So places like Connecticut, many cities in Connecticut, there are a lot of multi-units. If you go to New York City, obviously a lot of multi-units, right? But if you go to places where I live now is like Raleigh, North Carolina, there are not that many multi-units. It's not a renters market for multi-units. Yes, there's a lot of rentals, but typically people live in single-family houses. So if you're not able to house hack in a multi-unit house, what do? If you live in an area or you want to live in an area where it's like you don't have that many multi-families, what do? So some solutions to that would be you can use the same FHA loan that you would use on a single family, and you can acquire a 1 to 4 unit household, and you can consider single family homes as well. You can use a single family house in locations that are close to hospitals or universities. So a big strategy that a lot of people are doing are just doing midterm rentals to medical professionals. So if you were to live near a hospital or some type of medical oriented community, so like for example, like around a university that might have a hospital and it's like within a 5 to 10 mile radius, there's a lot of medical professionals obviously in those areas. If you were to live out there and rent out to travel nurses, let's say, that need to be on a contract for 90 days, you can end up living with, just 4 people renting out a room, assisting you in paying your mortgage if you're to do something like that. Or you could rent out to university students. I would typically suggest like grad students because they're probably not going to try and, they're over the phase of like throwing parties or whatever. So I know when I was in school, there was a lot of landlords in the area. I went to a school that was pretty much in the suburbs. So a lot of landlords, they rented out to some grad students, and it was a great strategy for them. Some of the best banks for home buying. So like I mentioned, an FHA loan, you start off with 3.5 down. And the average home price in the United States right now is $440,000, which is crazy to me. But 3.5% of that is just $15,000, just over $15,000, right? So saving, if you think about it, saving up $15,000, depending on, you know, how aggressive you want to save, and, you know, your timeline, it is more, obviously much more attainable than that 440,000. Or even if you were to think about, you know, putting down 20% of that 440,000, which would be 88,000, right? To save up 15,000 compared to 88,000, it's much more attainable in a reasonable amount of time. It just requires proper planning and strategy. And also, you can consider some first-time homebuyer grants that are available to you. So I always encourage people to just, you might not be in the market to immediately buy a property, or buy a property tomorrow, or buy a property in 3 months. But if that's where you want to go, if that's where you want to land, let's say in a year from now, you want to start talking to the right people. You want to start rubbing shoulders at networking events with lenders in your area that are local to your market, local to, and knowing what's going on in your market in terms of rates, in terms of the best neighborhoods to buy, in terms of the right grants that are available to you in your neighborhood. So you want to just invest in yourself first before you even look into saving and putting down payments. You don't need to worry about anything like that. Being here right now is a great investment in yourself to start, for anyone that's trying to start out in purchasing a property. So just rubbing shoulders with the right people. Secondly, you want to also look into the smaller and mid-sized banks. So bigger banks like Bank of America and Chase, they might not have your best interest at heart, right? Because they have a customer business model compared to small banks and mid-sized banks that have more of a members-only business model. So meaning that they're there to support the members of their community, versus customers, where it's like it's a very transactional thing, and their rates are their rates. There's little to no wiggle room when it comes to trying to negotiating certain things and having the best loan products. So if you go to some credit unions, you can find not only 3.5% down mortgages, but 0% down mortgages. One example, and very popular, probably the biggest credit union, I believe it is the biggest credit union, is Navy Federal. Navy Federal is typically for people that are in the DoD, military based, but they offer 0% down in mortgages. Another one that is more open to the general public, it's NIH Federal Credit Union. NIH is National Institute of Health, so it's typically geared towards medical professionals. However, if there's ways, I believe it's like the American Consumer Council that you have to join. There's ways that you can become eligible to become a member to certain credit unions, a credit union that you desire. Just look at their eligibility requirements, look at their loan products, and see if it works for you. There's a lot of opportunities that are untapped when it comes to these smaller and mid-sized banks. Saving banks as well. They can typically offer one time to close. So if, let's say you wanted to buy a property that was discounted, and if it's discounted, it's probably going to be distressed. If it's distressed, that means there's some work to do, and they'll offer you a one-time close. So that means you have to pay closing costs one time, right? So let's say you purchase a property. On top of purchasing that property and getting that mortgage, renovation costs are backed into that mortgage. So those expenses that you're using to pay off that to renovate the property, that's also in the mortgage, and you only have to pay closing costs for that one time. You don't have to pay a closing cost when the property is distressed and you buy it, and then after renovating, if you wanted to refinance it for its market value, you don't have to pay closing costs again. That's another strategy. So keep in mind looking into these small and mid-sized banks. When it comes to these banking opportunities, there are some challenges though. So some people typically ask like, which bank should they choose? Like, I've already been with my large size bank for many years. I'm like a valued customer, whatever they want to call you, a valued customer. What does that even mean? Like a Bank of America, Chase Bank, like at the end of the day, they're gonna offer you something that they would offer to somebody that just signed up for them today, right? So I don't know, and then another challenge is I don't know if I'll be approved for a mortgage. My credit isn't the best, and then I don't know all the documents that would be required, right? So we're gonna cover these two challenges. Let's address the first one. Pledging allegiance to a bank because of familiarity is financially restricting. I just showed you multiple different opportunities that small and mid-sized banks offer you, at whether you're just starting or if you're very seasoned in doing mortgages. They offer a lot of great opportunities that you probably never heard of if you only deal with the larger banks. A way to find these small and mid-sized banks is through this website called ibanknet.com. So I encourage you to check that out. You can search banks based off of location, monetary size, customer base, so many different factors. So you can just filter through. And then to address the second challenge, just not knowing if you'll be approved. FHA loans can be approved with as low as a 580 credit score. So the worst thing you can do at this point is to live in your own uncertainty. You definitely want to get going to just speaking to the banks. Like I said, I started off investing. I always say that I started off my investing journey in 2017, even though I bought my first property in 2020. I started out in 2017. It took me 3 years before I ended up actually purchasing a property. But speaking to different banks, speaking to lenders, speaking to agents, just to understand and get a scope of like the required documents, the credit requirements, and any down payment assistance opportunities that are available to you. You want to get familiar with these things. A little more to the best banking solutions. You want to take advantage of perks based off, like I mentioned, location, demographics, your industry. So I heard a very diverse group of industries as we went around the chat. So you want to take a look at what's available to you through your employer. You want to take a look at what's available to you through your profession, right? But through your location, your geographical location. Are you military? What type of home are you trying to get? There's a ton of opportunities I know for like rural based homes, like farm type homes. I don't know if anybody's into that. I wish I was, but yeah, that maybe down the line I'll see opportunities in the owning farmland. So now let's talk interest rates. So 30-year, how am I doing with time? I'm trying to go as fast as possible.
Yeah, you're good. You got about 6 minutes. So
6 minutes. All right, cool. All right, yeah, I should rapid fire. I'll just give a synopsis of like each slide. But this is basically showing the 30-year fixed mortgage rates from 1982 to 2024. As you can see, the interest rates were very high at back in the 1980s, and then we hit our all-time low in 2020, and that was around 2.75%. I don't know where the y-axis went here, but yeah, and then we're kind of going back up in numbers. And this is also the average sales price of new homes sold in the United States from 1965 to 2023. So there's a thing that I just wanted you guys to notice as I go through these two slides. Here, interest rates, they're typically going down, and now it's going back up. We don't know, what the future holds. I don't know if there's like a trend, more historical trend that we can base our calculations and foresight on. but it's going back up right now. If I was a betting man, I'll say it's gonna maybe keep going back up. I don't know though. I'm not a real estate or financial expert in the slightest. But what you can see here is that the trend has consistently gone up for home prices. I don't know if this is going to go down anytime soon. So, moral of the story between these two slides is home prices, you're never going to find the perfect price. They're always going to go up. So if you want to hold off on purchasing a home until and see what happens, these two slides kind of show you what is probably likely to happen, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no perfect time to buy a property. Like maybe the best time was probably back in the 80s, right? Like it shows here. But we don't have those type of numbers anymore. I don't think we're going to see that back in our lifetime. So just I encourage everyone to purchase property when they can, when it suits them. But waiting to buy real estate is not the move. Buying real estate and waiting is definitely the wave. All right, and then buying rentals, you want to take advantage of the FHA loan multiple times. You can purchase a multi-unit property, live there for a year, and then downsize, moving into so let's say you initially purchased a 4-unit, you can downsize into a 3-unit, rinse and repeat, maybe move to a 2-unit, rinse and repeat, move to a single family. Ideal situation that takes 5 years, and you can have 10 units at that point, right? So and that's all with using low money down strategies. Okay, so I think I'll go with this as my last slide or my last topic. Just highlighting how to optimize your home search, right? So optimizing your home search, the key things that I look at when optimizing my home search is location. We hear it all the time, location, 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 right? So location comes first for sure, but not only location. I want to go from the macro scale of location and say, not only say, oh, I want to buy property in Connecticut. You want to go where in Connecticut? Okay, I want to buy properties in Hartford. Where in Hartford? Hartford, if you go to any town, any city, really, there's a fine line. You can see night and day if you just go from one side of Main Street to the other, right? So you want to be able to delineate based off zip code. I always try to delineate based off zip code when I'm doing my Zillow searches and my Realtor.com searches, right? So you want to based off zip code. Want to base off of recently sold houses. Typically, I try to do like 90 days of recently sold homes. Get your price range based off what you are looking to afford monthly mortgage wise. So you can see here, I'm just going based off this, like the zip code, recently sold homes. Try to do like 90 days. If there's no recently sold homes in like 90 days, then you try for the 6 months. If there's not a good number of recently sold homes in 6 months, like to give you a good average, maybe try 12 months. If there's no recently sold homes in 12 months to give you like a solid average, I would say it's probably not the best place to be looking for a home. So you want to look into areas that are active, that sold properties are actually taking place. You want to look into your price range. You want to look into your bed and bathrooms that you're interested. And then the home type, whether it's a single family or multifamily. So I have the 90 days here. And then you also want to look into the square footage of the homes. So that all those factors, square footage, recently sold, zip code. I have them all in the list. So we got zip code, recently sold, the maximum home price that you are willing to afford based off what you spoke on with your mortgage lender, the number of bed and bathrooms, the home type, whether it's a single family or multi, the square footage, and then how many number of days it's sold. Like that's important too. So because the sale price can range. It doesn't typically happen, but the sale price can change significantly if it was sold 12 months ago versus 90 days ago. But that's just something to consider. All right, and yeah, I think I'll stop there. I'll stop there for now because of time. But thank you all for tuning in for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Muna. So the way we generally do this, right? We start off with again a topic. So I think you did a great job walking through extensively, things to pay attention to as a either first-time home buyer or can even a returning home buyer who's looking for ways to find other opportunities to stay involved in real estate. We take the second half and the second part of this time to open it up to the entirety of the group and ask if there's any questions, if anybody has any of their strategies that they look to share. Again, anything related to the topic or even if there's questions on particular slides, now would be the time to kind of ask that. So I'm going to open it up if anyone has any questions or anything that they heard that they want to speak on or share strategies on.
My question would be, why do you want to move into ground up construction next?
That's a good question. Why do I want to move into ground up construction next? So I've been through a number of cosmetic flips, lipstick flips, as they say, like just maybe requiring 10 to 15,000 in renovations. So just replacing toilets and paint and things of that nature. You don't really have to open up walls to do anything. And getting into those, you find out, like you may not see it before you purchase, but once you get into the renovations, you realize like, oh wait, I might actually have to open up this wall here. I might have to, there might be something wrong with the flooring that I couldn't see in the pictures, right? There might be something that was just hidden that, I couldn't see or I couldn't foresee, so typically because of that and just understanding the numbers, right? Those two factors kind of lead investors to get into ground up construction. They typically graduate into ground up constructions because the price point is normally lower when you're just buying land, right? And then you're able to build and design based off an blank canvas. You don't have to look into any under the hood stuff. You don't have to look into any surprises, right? So typically because of that, you purchase at a much lower purchase price, and the renovations or not even renovations, it'll be like just the construction. It's not usually more expensive than what it may be if it's like a gut rehab, right? Gut rehabs and ground up constructions might typically be the same price, but because the gut rehab is already constructed, it's already built, it's just like, the skeleton of the house is going to be valued at more. So you're going to have to pay more for a gut rehab than you would if you were just buying land. So it's all
What
about
areas are you looking? Where do you want to do your first ground up construction?
So I'm based in
Is
North
it a
Carolina.
single family or multi-family? Okay.
Yeah. I'm based in
So
North
it's be a single family.
Yeah. Typically. Yeah. I've looked into different areas. There are places that do duplexes, particularly Durham, North Carolina is a place that is nice, it's growing, and there are some duplexes out there. But yeah, for the most part, North Carolina, there's a lot of land here. People like their space, slow pace, and everything. So they like their single families.
Nice. I think we have, I guess, Ifat, if you're still around, if you want to ask any particular questions you have, or I think it'd be nice to hear from a beginner perspective if there's anything you're curious about or anything kind of in your way as you think through, starting kind of your journey, either owning a house or owning investment property? Is there anything on your mind?
Yeah, recently I've been looking up the whole thing about LLCs. Like, as a beginner investor going to real estate, how necessary is it for me to own the LLC off the bat? Let's say I wanted to get maybe a duplex in a couple of months, like an investment property where it's not, I imagine the FHA loan, it's
Yeah.
like a 20% down. Um, do I really have to get LLC, or like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So the question is, do you have how soon do you need to get an LLC, basically, right? If you're looking to purchase your first property. So if you're using the strategy of FHA, so if you're trying to do low money down, these banks are not going to allow you to use an LLC, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, but fortunately, right? Because if they did allow you to use an LLC, you'll have companies, LLCs like BlackRock, taking advantage of these low money down properties like crazy, right? So it allows the whole thing about an FHA is that it's government backed. The government is encouraging individuals to become homeowners. So they want it to be for individuals. So if you want to get a duplex, so the way I did it, get the duplex in my name, right? But obviously you're gonna have tenants. You're gonna have somebody that you're renting out on the other side. So you do want to protect yourself.
Yeah, right.
In that case, I'll consult a lawyer for sure so that they can guide you through this. Everything is all about consultation. Just talking with people. But I consulted my lawyer. The best approach was to do a quit claim deed, which is like basically you don't have to go through the process of a closing, like a full closing. It's just recording with county records that you, IFET, are transferring into IFET LLC, right? That's all it's saying. And it cost me, like I said, so I basically sold my property to my company for $1, right? And $1 plus lawyer fees, and that was that. And it was, but that was like 2 months after actually purchasing it with my name. So when it comes to the mortgage company and who they know as the guarantor, is still going to be you, because you are guaranteeing the loan. You are responsible for paying that monthly mortgage. However, when it comes to county records and anything legal, if a tenant wants to come at you with their lawyer and say, "Hey, how do I find the owner of this property? Like, who am I going to come at for anything that goes on the property?" They're gonna have to go to county records, and they're gonna see that your LLC owns the property. But the mortgage company, the lender and the county records are two separate things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And does it matter how long you've owned your LLC when trying to get a loan?
It depends. So first time home buying, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, first time home buying, you don't have to worry about that. But when it comes to purchasing a property with an LLC, yes, a lot of banks, they typically require like you to be at least 2 years in existence. And on top of that, if you're purchasing an LLC, then it's typically going to be 20% down. You don't have low money down strategies with that.
Right.
Yeah, just be prepared for something like that. It's going to be like 20% down.
Yeah, and just from my experience as well, I would, if you're a self-employed individual as well, like some of the income that the banks look at are going to be tied to the how long that business you're self-employed against has been in business for. I think it is 2 years, but again, just make sure that you check as well if that's your scenario.
Yeah.
So the business itself, right, the lending that you can get, as well as any money that you're sending to yourself via any business that you might already have or use to show income or show funds, definitely has to be in existence for a period of time.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it seems like a common theme across the board for the for the house hacking portion. I mentioned he did that. I did that myself when I got started. Well, I guess technically, I got started prior to my house hack with an investment property that was actually also a house hack. But again, you can invest with your friends and family, the people that you trust, the people that you work with. You can definitely invest with them. Again, if you guys are able to stay organized and communicate as well. So that could be another option that speeds up your time frame for investment. Definitely speeded up mine. Is pooling resources and building kind of community building, working together using group economics. So that's a big option. Allows you to take a lot more risk with a lot less money. So I would also advise if anybody has that at their disposal, where they have a few friends or a few family members or whoever they trust to go into business with ultimately. So, but house hacking is great. Definitely low money down, allows you to get into the game. I put some resources in the chat. Again, if you're going multifamily, I'm going to drop another one in here. Rentometer. So it's called a rentometer. .com. So
.com.
Yeah. So mhm.
.com.
So it's one of the things I would mention. I know, again, first time home buying, there's a lot of analysis paralysis that goes on. Muiwa said he got started in 2017 and he bought in 2020, right? That's pretty much where, I had the same experience where you spend kind of years going back and forth on, is this a good idea? Are my numbers correct? Do I have enough research, completed to really take this risk with, with a bit of confidence. So again, some of the resources, Rentometer is a big one. Zillow, right? Obviously, Redfin, Zillow. But generally, when you do find a property that you like, probably the first thing that you're going to do, if you're going the duplex route or you're going the single family route with a planned house hack, is to take a look at, for that square footage or for that bedroom bathroom combination, for that neighborhood, what is the rent, right? So if you have a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom duplex and you're going to stay on the other side, that's also 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, right? Go ahead and check your address on Rentometer that you're trying to purchase and say, and take a look at, for a 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, what's the average rent? What's the low point on the rent? What's the high point on the rent? Take a look at some of the properties that they're referencing the rent against. Go on Zillow Rents and just search your address or search your area where you're purchasing and see what the rents look like. So I always match that rent number up against the mortgage and whatever the other expenses are going to look like, and then it gives you again a rough idea of what things might look like when everything settles, if you do make the purchase. So that tends to be the first step. That's how I kind of do my napkin math, if you will. That helps. So yeah, Lamar.
Oh, I was gonna say house hacking sounds good, but you gotta also realize you're about to be a landlord. Like, it's also a business too, so you got to make sure that you're, follow the rules and responsibilities of your state, county, whatever, in terms of being a landlord and making sure you're following the proper paperwork. So house hacking is cool, but you're gonna be a landlord. You're gonna work. You're definitely gonna work if you don't get the right tenant.
We didn't get to that part today, boy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
100%. Definitely become a property manager instantly. So as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, can you do another talk on being a landlord?
That'll be an unpacking. That'll be a therapy session right there.
I'm gonna need it.
Yeah.
Aoife, I see your hands up. What's going on?
Yeah, did any of you guys ever think about doing Section 8 throughout your real estate journey? Was that like an option for you guys?
Yeah, I have a couple Section 8. I wish I could do more, but well, I plan to do more. Section 8, you're gonna have it's like the duality. Like, you're gonna have those landlord to tenant relationship nightmares, but you're also gonna have that guaranteed rent on the first of the month, the way you could like just wipe your tears away with that money. Like it's there on the first of the month, right? It's like it's a good opportunity because they give you just steady income, steady income that you're gonna definitely need, because you don't like if you're managing tenants that want to either you don't know how many kids they have that are gonna possibly wreck your house. There's gonna be, you don't know how often you're gonna be required to do some type of maintenance. Like you always want to have that guaranteed cash. Like that guaranteed cash is very valued in the in the business. So the best you can do is to try and vet your tenants beforehand. Like, and I try to typically use a property manager to do so. Yeah, and have like a very low tolerance for anything. If you see anything that might be like, oh I have a little dog and they don't bite, they don't do this, they don't do, the dog is gonna scratch up your walls. No dogs. You gotta stick to your stick to your rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also mention to that point, take a look right wherever you are, wherever you're trying to get involved. There's documentation on the zip codes for some states where it'll tell you exactly how much Section 8 is paying for that particular zip code based on the bedroom bathroom combination that you have. There's also, for Section 8 and other programs, they have requirements. So you want to pay attention to that as well. Make sure that your property that you're trying to purchase or you're already in has particular requirements. I think I remember for one of the properties, there was a window where there needed to be a door, and they needed that second full form of egress, in order to, certify it to be Section 8, or for that program in particular. So make sure you take a look at, there are websites. So again, go to the specific Section 8 website for your town, state, and make sure you read through what the requirements are if that's your aim. Requirements and also what they're paying for those bedroom bathrooms. I think they release it every quarter or every year or something like that, or every couple of years actually, I think. But there's actually like a chart, and it'll show you 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom in this zip code pays X amount of dollars.
Okay. Thank you.
So Will, I don't know if you got a chance to look at that when you did yours. Was that accurate when you looked at that chart and then you looked at your, what you're getting, or
actually, no, that's news to me. So I typically just inquire through I call up the Section 8 office.
Okay, yeah, that works as well. That's even better too.
Every state is different, so I feel like only Philadelphia really posts it like how you mentioned.
Zip code. Okay.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
So anybody in Philadelphia, that's they do that. They have a chart that you can look at. That's pretty. Yeah, that's definitely the Section 8 kind of, or any program actually, because there's a lot of programs out there depending on the state you're in, where they can guarantee you money on behalf of the tenant, and you still do also have to vet them, right? We have stories as well. Once they're out of compliance with whatever program, right? Is that program gonna just dump them on you and say, oh well, they're in there now, they're out of compliance with our program, we're not gonna pay you anymore. So good luck, right? Or again, is it more structured of a program where they step in and say, hey, they're about to be out of compliance with the program, we're gonna pay you X amount more, for X amount more months, and we'll help you to work to get them out of the property by that time, right? So you gotta look into those things.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I know we're gonna wrap in a couple minutes here. One thing I did want to mention for sure was tolerance, right? This, regardless of how we talk about this is a risk at the end of the day. So when you look at the risk you're going to take, just make sure you review your tolerance, right? Your risk tolerance level. A lot of good barometers for that is going to be your income, right? How many streams of income you have, how much money, you're bringing in. And again, really the test tends to be in real estate is how long can you kind of hold your breath in the event that something happens, either to the property, to you, or your, any of your streams of income. So again, just pay close attention to that when you are going to take that risk, because if you buy that property and you only have enough for the down payment, the closing costs, and your first month of rent, right? Again, and you're saying, hey, I'm gonna have a tenant in here first month or second month or third month, and I'll be okay, right? You want to make sure you pay attention to, right, how many months before you can have vacancy before you just lost all your money because they're gonna come take that property back, right? Because you can't make the payments. So just pay attention to that.
I definitely agree with that. But
Mhm.
in the same light, like you wanna assess your risk tolerance. At the same time, you don't want to fall into that analysis paralysis. Like you want to have like a happy medium in between the two. Because I'd say for my first duplex, like I ended up waiting those 3 years before I bought a property. I finally purchased the property. I had an entry-level job. I saved up just enough to do the down payment for an FHA loan. I didn't know where I was going to get tenants. I was a little scared, but I was like, okay, I bought in a good enough area. Like I should be able to find tenants, whatever. 7 days later, literally a week later, the world shuts down. It's COVID, so that put me into full panic mode. Like I didn't know if anybody would have any streams of income anywhere. Like I didn't know what to do. Like so it's a matter of, yes, it's gonna be assessing your risk tolerance. You want to make sure that you're not over exerting yourself, but at the same time, you do want to take a leap of faith, because we don't know what's gonna happen next week, right? So it's like you definitely want to just assess everything. If it looks good to you, jump.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
To piggyback off of that, yeah, don't be scared. Shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just get ready for shit to happen, but you're gonna get through it if God will be with you. And I see you guys on church on Sunday.
For sure.
Yeah, to that point, again, you have to have the mentality to look at it that way, or you have to have the money to back it up. So both is always ideal, but at least have one of those. So we don't want anybody coming back with stories of how they do not like real estate because they again did not plan for possible scenarios. So,
but I think sometimes you need those stories. You need those little punch in the gut to realize I got to do better next time. This is where I failed. This is how I get up and be stronger. But obviously, don't want that to happen.
Yeah,
100%. So, I think again, this was a really great talk. If anybody has any questions, again, everybody here is accessible. I would just say real quick, if everybody wants to drop their email address in the chat, so that again, respective individuals can reach out to you. For Muiwa, ask any questions, or for anybody else. Again, I know we talked about our occupations here and our professions. If anybody's looking to connect, again, I can't tell you how powerful connecting with individuals is. Like Muiwa mentioned, right? Even just going places and going to whether it's career fairs or real estate investment groups or joining any form of community. So again, you guys took the right step by being here today, and I can't stress you. I mean, even to the point where me just talking to Muiwa, being in this relationship here, he can come and have this talk, share with everybody else, and also, I mean, employment, right? Whatever you might want to get done, having people to speak with and strategize with is always helpful. So,
sure.
I see a couple into the chat already. So, again, before you head out, just go ahead and drop into the chat. And Muiwa, if you have any closing words, I'll let you kind of say that before we close out.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're all at different levels of real estate. There's definitely places that I want to graduate to more and more, things I want to get into. But starting is definitely the first step, and no matter what level, it's like starting is definitely a step that I encourage everyone to take, because we're all here for a great financial strategy, like that's not going anywhere. So yeah, it's great to be here, and thanks all for tuning in.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Actually, I do want to point out one more thing that I forgot to mention. Bigger Pockets Money Podcast. If you're looking to get out that analysis paralysis, the thing that helped me the most was hearing a bunch of different people's stories and how they got from their position to being successful in either real estate or in general. So again, if you want, tens of maybe even I'd say over 100 accounts of how people went from, maybe a situation you're in or even worse to being successful in real estate, I would go ahead and listen to that podcast. That's what got me out of analysis paralysis, into the game. So, thank you, everyone.
One more thing.
I just said one more thing.
Me first, one more.
Nah, we probably got the same thing. So you
It
go
might
ahead,
be.
Yasmin.
It might be.
It is.
All right.
It is.
Okay. So just wanted to say it's amazing to see where everybody is in their careers, see where everybody is in their life. I know several of us went to school together. I continuously astonished to see how much we've grown. But to CJ's point, being around other people, like-minded people who are doing similar things is very encouraging, and it's a place for us to vent. So just want to quickly plug that the Affluence Project is having a brunch, an intention brunch next month. So look out for the details, and we will definitely be sending correspondence to all of these emails we've collected.
Cool. Nobody
Yeah,
here is in
I like
North
that.
Carolina, right?
Not yet. You got to give me a reason to come down there.
Well, I mean, I am hosting a
Show me
network.
some numbers.
I got a networking event going on next week, so I was gonna
Okay.
say anybody could pull up to that one.
I'm not in North Carolina, but I'm applying to a division administrator sports medicine at Duke. So we'll see.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's in Durham. So yeah, that's cool. That's right next to me.
Nice. Yeah, again, please, everybody plug everybody. This is what this is all about. If anybody has anything they want to talk to anybody about, right? I see a bunch of emails in the chat now. Just go ahead and reach out. Get the contacts, get the conversation going.
Sure.
Yep, perfect. Thank you again, Yasmin, for that. That's why you are the top board member of the Affluence Project. But we will definitely be having that brunch. Again, look out on Instagram and via your email as well. To see about it. So.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna add too. If you guys like this, please for the next one, just share it with your peoples as well. Let's add more people. Let's bring more people into this. So really appreciate everybody joining this call and share it with others if you can.
All right.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
do.
Yes, sir. All right, everyone. Have a great night.
All right. Have a good one, y'all.
Have a good evening.